Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Vancouver Mall, located in Vancouver, Washington. The mall got its roots back in the early 1970s when it was constructed by the Masoners. It opened in 1977. The center's original anchors featured Meijer & Frank and Nordstrom's and Sears. As we'll see, JCPenney was added later in a newer addition to the mall. Mervyn's also opened at some point. Here we are at the mall's center area. The mall was very successful through most of its earlier years. It was renovated in the 1990s featuring a food court. It was later, in the late 90s, it was sold to the Westfield Group. They renamed it to the Westfield Shopping Town Vancouver. It was later known as Westfield Vancouver. Westfield, when they buy most of these properties, in the late 90s and early 2000s, they would rebrand them to Westfield Shopping Town. They would later drop that Shopping Town name. Meijer & Frank would become Macy's in 2006 when Macy's was acquiring several different brands and consolidating nameplates. Mervyn's would end up closing the next year and be turned into the mall's movie theater. In 2012, the mall underwent a major renovation. However, in 2014, Nordstrom would close their door, featuring one of the mall's first anchor stores to leave. However, this space was later filled by H&M and H&M. In 2015, the mall was sold to Centennial, that owns and operates the mall to this day. It was announced in 2018 that Sears would close its location at the Vancouver Mall. However, Hobby Lobby and Round 1 moved into the space. The mall, however, at this point, started to lose some notable stores and was looking at a little bit of a decline. So in 2020, Centennial would go about renovating the mall, bringing us to the look we have today. A very modern look, not the worst look I've seen, but not extremely interesting. Today, Vancouver Mall still is fairly popular, and I don't see any serious plans to demolish or convert the mall into something else. And it seems like it's still a staple of the community. The mall does lose some stores occasionally, but it also continues to gain stores. So what do I think of the Vancouver Mall? I think it's a very clean space. I went into the Macy's. It's not featured in this video, but it was extremely clean. It was one of the, if not the nicest Macy's I've ever been to. I haven't been to a ton of Macy's locations, but it was probably the nicest one I have been to. I think it's a clean mall. I think it still has a ton of life left in it. And unless it's sold to somebody who doesn't care, I think it can go for many more years to come. I think the tenants are diversifying, which is good for malls in this day and age, and I think that it definitely has some life ahead of it. Overall, the mall was a very pleasant place to go to, and I'm glad I stopped in this early morning visit. If you notice, JCPenney has their gate down. They are still in operation, they just weren't open at the time that I was there. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe, and see you on the next one.